Hi, Zane. Hi, Quincy. Hey, Zane. I was going to do one of your songs, but then I was like, it's about going to a clinic, for the kind of tests that you don't always want to know the results to. And I thought maybe I won't do that in our current time, but I did cover it and it is on YouTube back in the day. And I'm still very happy with that. I love that song of yours, Free Clinic. So, keep it in mind that, I would, in any other situation in an Oklahoma based program, I would have done that song in a heartbeat. But in our day and age right now, maybe not right this second, but hopefully soon again, right? So, and you wrote that song, what, over 10 years ago. So it had nothing to do with our current world. Hi, Luke. How are you? I don't know if we've ever met. So here's, something my mom requested. You're welcome, Mom. That was an instrumental version of This Masquerade by the Lawton/Tulsa area's very own Leon Russell. And one of the things about doing Leon Russell songs is if you want to sing them, you better do it completely different from him. And all I could have in my head would be George Benson's version. But anyway, hang on with me for a minute here. The noon bell is going here in town, and you probably hear it off in the distance. So just hang out with me for a second while I get everything else set up. But that was the intro. That was, there, the bell is ending. So it's a minute or two after noon now. How are you, everybody? I hope you're well, and stick with me just for a second here. I got to get stuff situated. Here we go. Is that the one? Is that the sound? Just a second. I think that's the one. Here we go. And this here is a song that I first heard about 19 years ago. Yeah, 19 years ago in 2001. And I had just moved back here to Oklahoma from New York. It was before 9/11. I know that because I had been living here for 9 months before that. But anyway, it's called Ain't Being Treated Right by Travis Linville. Quick to laugh at my expense, slow to loan me 50 cents. I ain't being treated right in this here town. All around I'm seeing folks falling for a hefty hoax. I ain't being treated right in this here town. I'm gonna travel far away from here and leave it all behind. Gonna go somewhere with fresher air where I know the people gonna treat me kind. High and holy ain't my style. They sure hate to see me smile. I ain't being treated right in this here town. Pick me up for picking flowers and honky-tonking after hours. I ain't being treated right in this here town. Pick it up, let's move them feet. Can't play music on the street. I ain't being treated right in this here town. Well, I'm gonna travel far away from here and leave it all behind. Gonna go somewhere with fresher air where I know the people gonna treat me kind. High and holy ain't my style. They sure hate to see me smile. I ain't being treated right in this here town. Gonna travel far away from here and leave it all behind. Gonna go somewhere with fresher air where I know the people gonna treat me kind. Won't be long before I split, had my fill of all that. I ain't being treated right in this here town. I ain't being treated right in this here town. Hey folks, how you doing? Hi G, Effin Smith. I'm going to get one of your songs in here in a few. And by the way, a lot of you might know that song, Ain't Being Treated Right by Travis Linville, strongly resembles in some ways 5'2" Eyes of Blue. It's kind of a little bit in the Western swing tradition, maybe. One of those kinds of songs that a lot of other songs are based on, maybe. Because I know that, like, for example, in the jazz tradition, I Got Rhythm by George Gershwin ends up being retooled by so many other people. Like, for example, Oleo by Sonny Rollins is based on I Got Rhythm, but it doesn't sound, really like it. I Got Rhythm is, hold on. Right? But Oleo is kind of more like this. And so forth. And it doesn't really resemble it at the end of the day. But, but I just enjoy that songs can be kind of reinvented. And, that's one of my favorites. And in a lot of ways, that song Ain't Being Treated Right speaks to the eternal musician spirit. In all of us, that is slightly rebellious, but harmless at the end of the day. and ought to be treated right, just like everybody else ought to be treated right. So this is also a little bit in that same line of thinking. This here is a Garth Brooks song called "We Shall Be Free." This ain't coming from no prophet, just an ordinary man. But when I close my eyes, I see the way this world shall be when we all walk hand in hand. When the last child cries for a crust of bread, when the last man dies for just words that he said, when there's shelter over the poorest head, then we shall be free. When the last thing we notice is the color of skin, and the first thing we look for is the beauty within, when the skies and the ocean are clean again, then we shall be free. We shall be free. We shall be free. Stand straight and walk proud, 'cause we shall be free. When we're free to love anyone we choose, when this world's big enough for all different views, when we all can worship from our own kind of pews, then we shall be free. We shall be free. We shall be free. Have a little faith and hold out, 'cause we shall be free. When money talks for the very last time, nobody walks a step behind. When there's only one race, and that's mankind, we shall be free. We shall be free. How's everybody? What's happening? Tell me what's going on. And, we got all these Oklahoman songs, and Garth Brooks is one of those people, I appreciate who he is and what he has done for people. And in that song, he took a big risk. I won't talk about why. I think you all probably know, or if you don't know, you can look that up and find out about, He went on, not in a risky way, but he went on the Muppets show and did most of that song. Like that last verse is not on the Muppet appearance, but the rest of that song is. And so Garth, though he's not somebody I listen to often, he's very much somebody I respect. So, and so is Jimmy Webb, who has been important to me without my even knowing it almost since before I could speak English. I was 2-3 years old, and one of the records in the house was MacArthur Park, and I used to run around the room to that thing. And I still love it today, but I'm going to do a song that couldn't be more Oklahoman because it was written in Los Angeles and is set in Kansas. Could not be more Oklahoman if you tried, I think. But it's called Wichita Lineman. I am a lineman for the county, and I drive the main road, searching in the sun for another overload. I hear you singing in the wire, I can hear you through the whine, and the Wichita lineman is still on the line. I know I need a small vacation, but it don't look like rain. And if it snows, that stretch down south won't ever stand the strain. And I need you more than want you, and I want you for all time. And the Wichita lineman is still on the line. And I need you more than want you, and I want you for all time. And the Wichita lineman is still on the Hey folks, I don't know if you can see it all the way back there, but this is the sign my mom made, and here it is in case this is something you'd like to do. Always appreciate any generosity you have and can bring to bear. In the meantime, I think the next time not in the next show I do, but maybe in a few more shows, I'll do another Oklahoman written show because there's so many people that I couldn't get around to. For example, I thought I could do a Dwight Twilley song that I enjoy a lot, but it really takes so much thought as to, can I even do it? It's so guitar and drum. There's no keyboard on it anywhere. How can I do it? Maybe I can't, and I just need to let guitar players do it. Or maybe there's another way around it. Well, we'll see. But anyway, this has inspired me to look further into more Oklahoman written songs for the next time. And this here is one of my very favorites. And it's by Brad Fielder. He's in Norman, Oklahoma as we speak. He's a few years younger than me. And when you listen to his version of this, he plays it with a banjo. So what I'm doing is going to be rather different. But he had heard me try to do this once a few years ago, and it was escaping me at the time. But now I think I've worked on it, and I hope you all enjoy it. I hope Brad enjoys it if he's hearing this. This is a song of his called Hot Sauce and Soppin' Bread. Make sure I'm loud enough. Yeah, I thought that might. Is that loud enough? Tell me if the piano is loud enough or too loud, okay? And then my voice too, if you want. Let me know if I can stop and see what you've all been saying. Let's see here. Yeah, let's see here. It was exciting seeing you as I was driving yesterday, Mitzi. I'm glad that we stopped and chatted at a safe social distance. I can't thank you enough. So anyway, here it is. This is Hot Sauce and Soppin' Bread by Brad Fielder. Gotta have enough hot sauce to sweat my head. Gotta have a good thick pot liquor for all that soppin' bread. Gotta have it whole to onion to get that flavor right. When I do my cooking and drinking most every night. Mustard greens with Valentina, boiled ham chunks in the beans, red potatoes and ground beef hash. If I don't make them boil the mash, take a shot of Kentucky Rye, pour some in that jambalaya, chop some garlic fine and squeeze over that boiling pot of beans. Gotta have enough hot sauce to sweat my head. Gotta have a good thick hot liquor for all that soppin' bread. Gotta have it to the onion, get that flavor right. Well, I do my cooking and drinking most every night. Bones pork loin, wrapped in foil, livers fried in olive oil, dipped in egg and whole wheat flour. Set the timer to about an hour, pop the top on a can of stoves, turn that burner down to low. With a jar of sun tea from the porch, you better stir that roux so it don't scorch. Gotta have enough hot sauce to sweat my head. Gotta have a good big pot liquor for all that soppin' bread. Gotta need a whole 2 onion to get that flavor right. Well, I do my cooking and drinking on a Thursday, do my cooking and drinking on a Friday, do my cooking and drinking most every night. I don't drink anymore, and I barely ever cook, but aside from a few small changes, the general philosophical attitude of that song is one I very much am in favor of. One time I talked to Brad about that song, and I thought it's not that there's not more to his jolly songs than there seems, because I think there always is. Or often there is. But in that case, I think he was saying to me, well, Beau, that one's just kind of fun. I thought there was something a little bit more than, like, sometimes the people who write songs don't always hear exactly the same thing that we hear. Hi, people that I haven't wave to yet. If you're watching, let me know, or direct message me about any requests you'd like to hear another time. Because I try to get around to those. And I did a song also the other day, one of the last shows, not the very last show, but the one before that, I believe. I did a song called Queen of Oklahoma by Carter Sampson. And I may do that song again, but just know that I've already done that one. And that's definitely an Oklahoman written and Oklahoma centered song. And I like it very much. So, but that's one of those where I really am certain that there's more going on than appears on the surface. And but in this instance, right now, I'm going to get to my friend Greg Smith's song, Some Days and Maybes. Let me get my desired setting on my keyboard here. This may just about do us, right? Here we go. New love is risky, and I know it to be true. The weather's always sure to change. I need a prayer to make it through. So hold on, don't yet let go. I was thinking about quitting, and I know you were too. But I know it's the hard times, just a part of paying dues. So hold on, don't yet let go. This garden ain't quit growing. You see them blossoms on the vine, and the cold wind ain't blowing, and the well ain't run dry. So hold on, don't yet let go. It's not just some days and maybes. It's something I know you feel. This dream we've been sharing is the promise of the real. So don't yet let go. Yeah, hold on, don't yet let go. So hold on. Thank you, Karen. I appreciate you You know, like I don't know Travis Linville that well. I've known him for about 19 years, but our circles don't connect that often. But when I heard that, I've heard several of his songs. But and then like, see, I don't know Jimmy Webb at all. I wish I did. That'd be fun. But yeah, my friends are people I believe in, and I got some more here coming up. This is actually just a minute. Let's see here. Well, this is Mike Hosty's song. It's my favorite of his for sure, and it is called Hawaii. Let's see here. Just a second. Get this all made sure that I'm right in the right place. There we go. I believe we can start now. Here we are. Hang on. Also, I'm noticing my amp is doing some funny things today. It's kind of coming in and out a little bit, and I'm not real sure why. So I'm stopping that just to see if I can get a better sound from my amp. Okay. Yeah, see that? Did you hear that? It just kind of... It's doing that thing. But we're just going to go with it for now. So you don't hear the percussion as well. So what? Why'd she have to leave me and move to Hawaii? And leave me here in Oklahoma, oh so all alone. Why'd she have to go and leave me and move to Hawaii? Where the Kanawan Wahinis, you know they hula all day. She's probably out on the ocean, I know she's feeling fine. I just had a crappie fall off of my line. Now why would somebody go and do something like that? To move to Hawaii. Leave me here in Oklahoma, oh so all alone. She's probably out on the beach, she's got a little grass shack. Tornado took my roof, I don't think it's ever gonna give it back. Now why'd she have to go and leave me and move to Hawaii? Where the huma huma nuka nuka apua go swimming all day. Waves on the ocean, the moon shining bright. Nobody wants to cut this scar off of my line. Now why would somebody go do something so cruel like that and move to Hawaii? Where the huma huma nuka nuka apua go swimming all day. I don't think she's ever coming back again. I have to leave the mainland just to see my sweet babe once again. Mom's a big fan of that one. Thank you, Mom. Let's see here. And get myself situated again. Uh, Mike Hosty has been a fixture in Norman for a very long time, and he's a hell of a good entertainer. He's a very funny man. He's very nice. That song for me is so satisfying. Um, it's a different kind of song maybe than a lot of Hosty's fans are as much a fan of as some of his other things like Cleveland County Jail and Frady Hull and so forth, which are all very funny and stuff. But that song seems like you don't have to be Oklahoman, even though Oklahoma is mentioned, to understand what the guy is dealing with, you know? Anyway, and you know, I write songs that, have only to do with me as a general rule. At least that's been the case, up until now, but we'll see where that goes. Speaking of, a friend of mine that, he really, I think, is the most interesting musician and songwriter in Oklahoma right now that I know of. And his name is Jarvix. Jarvix. Kind of like tip jar. But anyway, this is, it takes just a little explanation. The first time I saw Jarvix was in 2016 at the Norman Music Festival, and Daria Mara Ulaita said to me, go to the Red Brick Bar now. It's like 4 in the afternoon on a Saturday or whatever. And I was like, yeah, that's where I was going to go. I was either going to be at the Bluebonnet Bar or Red Brick Bar. And I wasn't really going to go too many other places during Norman Music Festival because I thought most of the things that would interest me were at either of those two places. But I didn't know of Jarvix at all. And he was living in Moore at the time, Moore, Oklahoma. And so now he lives in Oklahoma City. You know, Daria told me, go see Jarvix. He has a ukulele and a loop pedal. And then when I got there, he had a whole plastic set of shell, you know, like a drawer, like a chest of drawers, like a clear plastic chest of drawers full of different hats. When I got into the place, he was already setting up his loop pedal jam kind of groove for something, for one of his songs. And that was taking a few minutes, but he had some kind of propeller beanie hat on. He took that off, and before he started to sing, he put on a giant Hawaiian hat. And then he had nothing but hats in this thing. And when he was done with the first song, he introduced himself to us. And then he said, now we're going to play a game. And he came up with stuff. I can't even tell you right now how many beautiful things he was doing that completely subverted the stereotypical, I don't know whether I'm a rich suburbanite or a country musician kind of attitude. He was doing something completely different from what was stereotypical right now in Norman, Oklahoma, and I couldn't have been more thrilled. This here is called Fed Up, and it's written from the standpoint of Lassie the dog just having had it, you know, like Lassie feels unappreciated and for her dangerous work. And this here is it's just one of my favorite things anybody has done around these parts. So here it is. stunt you can do. And I'm finding me a human who will pamper me, someone wealthy who will shower me in luxury, cashing in on my poker chips of bravery, for a life separated from anxiety. Yeah. And in true Oklahoman fashion, at a Jarvix show, the loop pedal thing didn't quite come in where I thought it would. And that's not even him. That's everybody with anything like a loop or a synthesizer. Good Lord have mercy. All the best laid plans. Meanwhile, there's a jam. So Timmy found a bear. I won't be there. Best of luck, 'cause I'm fed up. This ain't free child care, so don't you dare pass the buck, 'cause I'm fed up. Those bears tend to attack, so hurry back, unafraid, 'cause I'm fed up. 'Cause I won't be saving Jack. Grizzly snack ain't my trade. And if you think I'm only raving, brother, you ain't even close. This towel ain't wagging, it's waving. Adios. So, hello, Mateus. Could you send me a PDF of that Villalobos song again? I'm not even kidding. I really enjoy that song. I'd like to play it and try to sing it at the same time in my own key, obviously. I think I'd have to do it. And it might not be possible if there are glissandos in it. I can't remember. But I love Villalobos, one of my favorite early 20th century composers. There's so many. Most of my favorite composers of classical music are from the early 20th century. But anyway... And he was, he lived until 1960 or thereabouts, but still, composing the whole time, I believe. But anyway, fed up. You don't like the words to that one, Karen? I think those words are amazing. But there you go. Everybody's different. Let's see here. I got another Jarvix song. And it's called Happy as a Clam. Let's see here. Let me get this set up. Takes a little bit doing. There we go. Okay, and this one talks at first about going to the grocery store and not buying all that many things, just enough to get you by, but like in bulk, and in a way that was from the earlier times, but the principle of this song couldn't be more my philosophy these days, which is to just try to enjoy what we have and not worry about whether people thinking we got the right things or the right approach and the right look and all that kind of stuff. All that's totally out the window, hopefully forever at this point. Anyway, Happy as a Clam by Jarvix. I took myself to the grocery store in a 1996 four-door, a pouch of coupons in my hands in case they didn't have off-brands. Inside I grabbed a loaf of bread, a potato sack and a lettuce head, some ramen noodles, beans and rice, tortilla chips at discount price. And at the checkout with a wink, I told the young cashier to think of all the goods that I had bought. A hollow treasure, were they not? She smirked a bit uncomfortably in an attempt to humor me, but she didn't owe me a thing, for I was living like a king. 'Cause I'm as happy as a clam, ain't got no pressing needs. The grass is greener, but I am completely rid of weeds. Took myself to the dollar show, whose scheduled times I did not know. Just made a somewhat random pick and bought a ticket for a flick. I skirted past the concession line, my chewing gum would do just fine, and sticky floors I didn't want, so I sat at the very front. The film began with no delays, though its copy had seen better days. But all the wear and tear could not affect the acting or the plot. And when the movie show was done, I stayed to watch the credits run. I was feeling very much content with the dollar I had spent. 'Cause I'm as happy as a clam, ain't got no pressing needs. The grass ain't greener, but I am completely free of weeds. Took myself to a party at a fancy person's fancy flat, while trendy music played throughout, so loud you nearly had to shout. The things to do were to converse or binge on beer, which one was worse? Then up with boredom I came back to hang my hat and hit the sack. Well, some may say my life ain't fun, well, that's just how they see it. If that means I'll have no one to be my friend, so be it. 'Cause I'm as happy as a clam, ain't got no pressing needs. The grass ain't greener, but I am completely rid of weeds. I'm as happy as a clam, ain't got no pressing needs. The grass ain't greener, but I am completely rid of weeds. I've got about 2 or 3 more songs. Let's see. No, they're truly not universals. Lyrics, I guess the thing is that when Jarvix writes words, they speak to my particular condition a lot, which I can explain another time maybe. But I don't write too many universal lyrics. Jarvix sometimes does. I think those are much more universal than Lassie speaking to us in an indignified frustration. But I still love all of it. I know what you mean about the difference between fun words and universal words, but sometimes they kind of cross. Who knows? But I have a song by a friend of mine named Jeff Parsons, and it talks about some of the immigrant experience and then the non-immigrant experience in understanding that convenience stores, but this is in the before times, convenience stores were like a place where every single type of person in society met. And so often, even in Oklahoma, in Norman particularly, there's a large immigrant population, and there's a large international population with the University of Oklahoma, but there's also convenience stores in town, which are owned by people from Asia. And I think Jefferson Parsons wrote this song to reflect that particular universality and to express a kind of respect for what the people from half a world away do for us at the convenience store. And so here's this song. It's called Korean Store. Let me make sure I got the right sound. Hold on. Here we go. Nacho cheese Doritos at the Korean store. Camel filters and donuts. All this and more at the Korean store. Beef jerky and bottle rockets at the Korean store. Papers and screens and skin magazines. All the things you can't get no more at the Korean store. Clientele looks so surreal at the Korean store. Freaky people late at night. Strange sights. Neon lights. The Korean store. Sun's coming up and I'm coming down at the Korean store. Guy behind the counter don't look like the one that was there before at the Korean store. What time is it? 10 of? Yeah, I got 2 more songs. That's perfect. Hi, Matt Lane. Hey, Jennifer. Lost track of the time. You can, yeah, we can listen. You can listen to it afterwards. Anytime you all want to listen. Hi, Jolly Burleson. Did you hear the Hosty song? I did a Hosty song. You can go back and listen to it if you didn't hear it. But I did the song Hawaii by Mike Hosty. So you should check that out because I know you're a fan of Hosty. And, so this is my song. And, a totally talented and respectable colleague, a fellow singer-songwriter, said he really wanted to cover this song that I'm about to do of my own. Then he said, but could I change some of it to make it more acceptable to my audience? Because he's got a following that's extremely redneck. And I was like, no, you can't. Don't change it. Now he's really talented. I'm sure he could have done something quite good with it, but it's like, no, you're going to make it acceptable to the audience. I don't want to hear this song, even let alone have an opinion about what it ought to be. But at the same time, this song talks about me wanting to leave Oklahoma, and I no longer do. I don't want to deal with a lot of the people I used to have to deal with, but then it was true before all this. So you do what you can and you try to have as positive an attitude as possible. But I have people that I care about here that I want to see make it through this, and I want to make it through this, and we can all help each other a lot better than if I were anywhere else. So, in case you haven't gone here, this is my mother made this sign, and, we have this easel here that's a friend of mom's made for her about 40 years ago. But you know, there's only so much I can do with the spatial relationships and the situation we got with the phone and so forth. But anyway, this song, not to digress completely, is called Time to Move My Car. Think it's time to move my car. I don't like where it's parked at the edge of the lot, off the alley, attracting attention from the cops. If I'm gonna smoke my spliff, I get closer to the back door of the bar. Think it's time to move my car. Think it's time I went insane. If it's all gonna be over soon, what do I have to lose? And I don't even rightly know where it is the next time I get paid. Makes no sense getting all stressed out if it's all going down the drain. Think it's time I went insane. Think it's time I wrote this song. If you're in public and you hear me singing it for you, you'll know it's finished. That'll be a good thing. At least that's what I gotta tell myself. And I don't think anyone's really gonna prove me wrong. Think it's time I moved my life. I have never, ever belonged in this part of the country. I was kidding when I said I didn't belong in Portland. Anywhere weed's legal, can probably find a wife. At least that's the fantasy I'm going with today. I think it's a good one, might even last a little bit, up to a week. Probably not 30 days though, 'cause around a month's about the time when the signs and signals of irritable depression start to take over, no matter what else you might be having going for you. Time to move my life. Only it's not. It's time for me to stay right here. It's time for me to do as little as I can other than make music and do things that help my family and myself and the people I love. That almost made sense, what I said. Anyway, yeah, that song doesn't really apply to my life now, but it's got some truths in it that I will stand by. And this is the first show that I've done without any John Prine in it. John Prine grew up in a suburb of Chicago, and his father and mother were both from Kentucky, Appalachia, I believe. So the thing is that, however, I am going to do a song that it took me a lot of research to try to figure out how to do this song, because there are so many different versions, and I did not want to do any harm, of course, to a Woody Guthrie song. But it turns out Woody Guthrie wrote the poem. He didn't write music to this. So a number of versions exist that are similar but not exactly the same. And then there's one version that Jennifer Robertson shared with me by a fellow named, I want to say, Lance Cardenas. I have to go check the last name again, but it's completely different. And so it's beautiful and it's fascinating, but it's completely different. It's very modernized and everything. So different melody, everything. So I just wasn't really sure what to do here, but it's the words that matter the most in this case. And it's known either as Plane Wreck at Los Gatos or Deportees. And leave you with this thought. Yeah, we got to care about the people who are the most vulnerable, and a lot of them are the kind of people that are described in the song and the tragic event that the song describes back in 1948. So here it is. Crops are all in and the peaches are rotting. The oranges piled in their creosote dumps. They're all flying back to the Mexican border to pay all their money to wait back again. Goodbye to my Juan, goodbye Rosalita, adios mis amigos, Jesus y Maria. You won't have your names when you ride the big airplane. All they will call you will be deportees. My father's own father, he waded that river. He took all the money he made in his life. My brothers and sisters come work the big fruit trees, rode the trucks till they took down and died. Goodbye to my one, goodbye Rosalita. Adios, mis amigos, Jesus Maria. You won't have your names when you ride the big airplane. All they will call you will be deportees. Some of us are illegal and some are unwanted. Our work contract's out and we have to move on. 600 miles to that Mexico border. They chase us like outlaws and rustlers like thieves. Goodbye to my one, goodbye Rosalita. Adios mi amigos, Jesus Maria. You won't have your names when you ride the big airplane. All they will call you will be deportees. We died in your hills, we died in your deserts, died in your valleys, and died on your plains. We died neath your trees, we died in your bushes, both sides of the river. We died just the same. Goodbye to my one, goodbye Rosalita. Adios mi amigos, Jesus Maria. You won't have your names when you ride the big airplane. All they will call you will be deportees. The sky plane caught fire over Los Gatos Canyon. A fireball of lightning shook all our hills. Who are all these friends, all scattered like dry leaves? The radio says they are just deportees. Goodbye to my one, goodbye Rosalita. Adios mis amigos, Jesus Maria. You won't have your names when you ride the big airplane. All they will call you will be deportees. Is this the best way we can grow our big orchards? Is this the best way we can grow our good fruit? To fall like dry leaves, to rot on the topsoil, and be called by no name except deportees. Goodbye to my one, goodbye Rosalita. Adios mis amigos, Jesus Maria. You won't have your names when you ride the big airplane. All they will call you will be deportees. Hey everybody, I hope you enjoyed the show today, and Lance Canales. I couldn't remember it off the top of my head. It was but I really thought that was an interesting version of that song that you shared with me, Jennifer. And those of you who want more of these types of things, let me know. And once again, here's that information. Let's see, does that work? That works just about. Yes. So, anyway, peace to you all, and I hope that you are well, and we'll see you in the new week with the 11th live Facebook Beau Mansfield Music Show. And meanwhile, take care of yourselves, stay safe, and be well. Peace and love.